Morning, everyone. Bruce on the mic, joined by Michelle Dunstone.
Good morning.
Morning. So we thought we'd jump in after watching the stream ourselves from elsewhere in town and seeing Ros Gallagher do her thing in the second end.
Right, okay, so what's happening here? Who's shot?
Who's shot? Dean and Tali are just the one, I think.
Second shot is...
yeah, it's we've got
Ian
Ian
and Ros.
Shot here, so some great curling.
How many shots left?
We are down to...
last one from
yeah,
Dean.
last one from Dean, and then Ian, and then there'll be one from Ros, and then one from Tali. So well done to Ian. For those who don't know, obviously Dean and Tali are kind of operating on a different level, with the greatest respect to all the other athletes here. I think most of us would agree, and I'm one of those athletes, we would all agree that Dean and Tali are a cut above. So
I was going to say we're very inclusive.
Yeah. So for most of the teams here, we have our smaller goals when playing these amazing athletes, that, you know, just to win an end or score a point.
Oh, enough of this pedestal, yeah?
Yeah. Anyway, so we crush them like bugs. Anyway, so I'm sure Ian and Ros are feeling very happy with their morning's work so far.
Ian's pretty good at some of his own throws there. So
he's done some good ones too, by the looks of things. And that's again.
Okay, so there's Dan and Tali's still shot.
Still shot. They did nudge the yellow in there a little.
So,
but the angles favour Dean and Tali here, so there's I can't see a way.
So what could Ros do?
Yeah, I can't see a way to get that yellow stone to shot, because the angles are putting that away, so the red-yellow sort of freeze is
if
pushing
you had
that
like
away.
amazing skills, what could you do?
I don't think there's a shot here to get for Ian and Ros to get shot. So I think their best bet is damage limitation. There's a lot of dangerous reds there on the right side of the overhead as we looked at it. So it's the left side of the sheet if you're looking at it from our angle, straight down the sheet here.
Yeah.
On that's Ian, because Ian being a left-hander, so that's this is Ros again. So that's Ros's in-turn side. So
surely there's some amazing shot you could do.
Well, Ros is known to defy Newtonian laws of physics at times, but even she, with her, and I will use the term wizardry, probably can't get shot rock from this. So I think they're calling a guard. They're just going to say, right, you know what, we'll force them to one.
It wouldn't be worth the risk of increasing the score either.
No. So I think they're going to.
And then they can have hammer.
Guard up the left side. Try and get out of this end, only giving up the one.
How are we going to do a Mexican wave?
I don't know. There's we've got Nathan here, so we have
a very rowdy audience.
Rowdy here, so obviously it's towards the end of the comp here in Naseby. We've still got round robin games to go, but of course, only a few teams mathematically are left in the round robin. Although this pool is quite open now. I don't actually know the ladder, but there's actually quite a lot to play for in this pool.
Bruce, I didn't... Oh, yeah, okay. So that wouldn't have... Even running that yellow guard back wouldn't have...
No, there's just that angle of the red that's checking the yellow there, so that red rock that's sitting...
Yeah, that's a really painful rock.
That's hurting them. So towards Dean and Tali now are looking at how we can increase the score. They'll be looking for maximum return. Obviously, if they can remove that yellow rock, they could sit, 5, possibly even 6. I'm not sure that's there, but they'll find a way. Yeah, Dean looking at all the angles now.
Well, maybe it's a good scenario to go through. Oh, hang on, would they? Oh, that hurts though, getting 6.
It does. But it is a scoreline we have seen Dean and Tali produce, I think, just once in this competition so far.
Against
just
Steve Johns and Monica,
yeah. Let's not name names. Let's just say that they haven't.
Oh, was I doing the wrong thing there?
Let's just say that Dean and Tali, because we have to remember in mixed doubles 6 is a maximum score. So in mixed doubles a 6 is the equivalent of an 8-ender in fours curling. So that's last year.
Nice T-shirt.
So, just as if by magic, Facebook reminded me that 1 year ago I was in this exact location competing in Nationals last year.
What are the chances?
Anyway, I'm jumping on my phone because I'm going to jump onto YouTube. So if anyone is watching on YouTube, please throw your comments up there. And I think we'll be monitoring the YouTube feed rather than the Facebook one. So just let us know you're watching, where you're watching from.
Sheep B looks interesting.
Yeah, so we'll give you updates on the other games. Yeah, it's a tight game on Sheep B at the moment. We've got Johns and Johns, well-known crime-fighting duo, playing the Collins Pals.
Hang on, Charlie's.
So here we got Heat coming in.
It's going to chip that. Yeah.
No, it's not. Well, it's not the 6. They would have been going for. It's still 5. So
rock exchange system there.
So Dean and Tali executing pretty much perfectly there to get five out of
Was
that.
it possible to keep their shot rocking that?
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to the angles, possibly. But, at this stage, 5 versus 6 is fairly academic, I think, to Dean and Tali. So, anyway, yeah, I'm going to jump on YouTube. So, yeah, any comments, just say hi. Bring them up there.
We do shout-outs too.
Absolutely. Let us know you're here. Oh, well, that's yesterday's game.
Can I do a shout-out?
You can do a shout-out. Of course you can.
Oh, okay. Let's do a shout-out to my mum, my kids, and my dog, Rocky. Rocky's a favourite child.
Yeah, we know that Michelle's daughters aren't likely to be watching this, so no offence. So, we have Maddie. Hi, Maddie. Thanks for your comment. Yeah, she says, hi, Bruce and Michelle. Good game last night. Yes, we had great fun last night. We almost, to do that well against the number 2 seeds in this competition, and we almost did it. We gave them a scare, but they're great people, and we had a lot of fun out there as well. Matt and Jen are great to play against.
I'm still processing it.
So, yeah, we've definitely been raising our game as each game's gone on. So, even though we've not managed to get the win ourselves, we're actually quite happy with how we're playing.
We are the best losers.
Yeah, we reckon we're there. And we certainly the crowd pleasers with all these extra ends and big hits. And
is Tali doing that outside tick?
So, outside tick shot coming in from Tali here. This is a favoured tactic of theirs in the power play. So for those of you who appreciate any kind of curling, but particularly mixed doubles, you'll know how difficult that shot is, that tick shot. It wasn't quite good enough to get shot rock though, so it's just overthrew that ever so slightly, or caught it too thick. Their usual aim is to actually try and get what was their guard ticked into the ring, so it counts shot rock, and they haven't actually managed to achieve that, I don't think. The other overhead. So we're just going to get the home end overhead up. No, we can't quite get the. So I can't quite see who's. I think yellow is still shot. So corner freeze coming in here from. That needs to curl a bit from Roz. It's just a little heavy this, so if it doesn't bump, it's going to go through. I think it's just going to go by. Oh. Well, it's definitely one shot to yellow now.
Yeah, nice one. Nice
so
tick.
And for a tick of her own from so anything you can do.
That's called the Roz tick.
I can do just as well. So nice tick shot there from Roz to basically just tick that yellow stone, red stone just far enough so that yellow's lying shot. So they're going to try and get what they can out of their power play.
Okay, so what's the strategy now?
Well, it's going to be difficult for Roz and Ian because they've lost their guard. So, and again, Dean, I think, again, no takeouts yet in mixed doubles. So, or is it? Are we in? Hang on, how many shall we? Oh, this is 4th rock. So Dean could take out. I think
is he just trying to?
I think he's just trying to corner freeze. Yeah, this is 4th rock. So Dean could have elected just to hit and split the house. And that would have thought then the force would be on. But he wants more. So that's just going to over-curl and come up a little shy. So it's still that yellow rock as shot rock. So chance for Ian to put up a decent guard here, I think, would be the first. Can
I say it? Could that be a retro guard? Was it not?
No, this would be a proactive guard. So
Okay.
I don't know. I think they're going to call the freeze again. I'm not convinced about this call. I'm not sure Ian is aware who shot rock. I think if Ian, I'm not convinced about this call. Maybe I can't see the angles here. I would have thought that creating a sort of Christmas tree of stones. But then maybe the yellow stone is available on the outside and Ian's aware of that. So which it would be. So couldn't cover every hand. This looks heavy from Ian. So definitely yellow sitting 1 at the moment. Thanks Brad for just providing me the home end overhead feed so I can see it.
Are they trying to rest on that left red?
So, no, we can hit now, so I think we're going to see a sort of tap-tap from Dean here.
I mean, like Ian's move just before.
I think he was trying to freeze again. Again, Ian and Roz want to score here. The purpose of the power play is to score, and you can only really score when you have stones in play. So they wouldn't be wanting to take out just yet. They'd be wanting to keep even things in the house because you can freeze to them, particularly that one because it's behind T, the one on the play. So Dean here, I think, is looking for the little tap. Tap red onto yellow, make the yellow go away, and they'll be sitting 3. That's the goal of this shot. Everybody seems quite relaxed. Well, that's a little high, but no, doing a great job there. And rolling to the middle. Great shot from Hewitt there. So Dean will be very happy with that. Oh, hi Laurie. Thanks for watching.
Hi, Laurie.
So, yeah, difficult to see. So, there's perhaps a freeze in behind that one. That would be running out of places to hide. I think Ian now is in damage control mode. He'll be looking to double those 2 reds out. If he gets this right, he could roll over towards the other yellow that's in the 12-foot. I think that's the shot he's calling here. Try and get rid of 2 reds. Try and roll over to the wings, using that other red stone as a bit of backing. That's pretty close. He's just going to come the wrong side of nose and roll out, unfortunately. It was close. So I think we might see the Ian just split the house. They're going to try, I think, and draw in, putting this 3rd stone somewhere that doesn't set up an obvious double or triple. So it's in the description, but I did do my full introduction. So welcome, those of you who are listening, to the 2025 Australian Mixed Doubles Curling Championships from here at the Maniototo Adventure Park Curling Rink in Otago, New Zealand. We are on our normal feature sheet today, back to sheet C, where we've been for most of this competition. We're currently in the final round of round robin games in the mixed double. This is Pool A. Ian Gagnon and Roz Gallagher playing Dean Hewitt and Tarly Gill. Dean and Tarly are untroubled so far in this round robin. So they're definitely going to the form book. They've won all their games so far. So are set to top this pool. But they'll still, they're not going to take their foot off the gas. They're professionals, elite athletes. They're going to want to perform as well as they can. No quarter is given, and that's very respectful. None of the athletes here want to be treated any differently by Dean and Tarly, even though there may be a bit of a skill difference, with the greatest respect to Ian and Roz here. And so Dean and Tarly bring their best game to every game. This looks good from Dean. He's going to come into the sort of top 8. It's going to half. So there is a double there for. He's coming a little deep, so there is a double there for Ian. And potentially Ian could get a bit of a roll across the sheet.
I'm going to, since I'm quite novice at this, when you say double, I mean like you'd tap it straight on, or would on the side?
Well, I think there's an angle for Ian here to do two things with his stone. He can obviously hit the red that's... All right, we've just technical issues. So yeah, there is an angle here, I think, where Ian can hit the red that's in the top 8 foot in such a way that it hits the red that's behind it on the tee line, so that both of those reds go. And then if he can try and, I think his shot rock, his shooting rock that's coming in now, could roll over the sheet to the other side.
That's what
yeah, I think this is a little wide, unfortunately. Oh, we might double the other one. Oh. So just caught that a little thin there from Ian. So.
Would the weight have been right?
That was perhaps a little heavier than was needed. That was close to normal weight, I think. So perhaps control to board, somewhere between board and control would have probably done the job just about. But, excuse me. So Dean and Tali still sitting 2. Well, you will have picked up that audible on the mic there of a very satisfying sound of granite onto granite onto granite. And so Anne Powell has just played a tremendous run back on sheet B. We had a whole load of stone, like four or five stones, all lined up on the centre line behind that centre guard, and a beautiful dead straight run back came in that basically got lots of things moving, and leaves Anne and Andy Collins on the on sheet B sitting 3. So freeze coming. Oh, okay. Right, okay. Okay, yes. It was lovely, but okay. I'm looking back to sheet B there. That was unfortunately it was almost too good, that run back. It got everything moving dead straight. So I think she assumed there'd be a bit of an angle in there, so some of the yellows would chip out, leaving the red stone in play. But she got it too straight. It's unusual to see that many stones in a straight line moving. Isaac Newton would be proud. Anyway, back to our feature sheet. So after Ian chipped out that stone in his shot, Dean's essentially put it back, almost in an identical spot. So Roz now, this is Hammer coming in, so Roz has a chance. I think they'll just be drawing.
Can I ask a naive question?
Please do. You're muted. All
right, asking a naive question. So is it better to have them offset a bit or straight, or it doesn't matter because there's many options, like those two reds?
It depends on the situation. So they've elected for the draw here. So Roz could have nose hit that one in the top 8 and been shot had she made the double. But they've gone for the draw. This is coming in a little heavy. So Ian's backed right. So I think this is just going to go through the rings, unfortunately. It's going to try and grow some legs, but I think that's just going to track through. So unfortunately, that's a steal of 3 to Dean and Tali there. So.
And that's the 4th end?
So that's the 4th end. Everybody can have a bit of a break. So it's only 11-1 currently to Gill and Hewitt as they go into the 4th end break. So we've got a few minutes. So I'll keep describing. There's still a bit of play happening on sheet B. And I've been... Michelle, it's your gig.
Let's watch sheet B for a bit.
Sheet B for a bit. Yeah, we've got another minute or 2 on sheet B. But... So another bit of weight coming in from Anne Powell. She's kind of stuffed it. But she has managed to get stuffed. Simply being, she was hoping to try and get a double out there. She didn't quite make the double, but she got one of the yellow stones moving. So
she kept the shooter in there. So
she kept the shooter in. That's important. Yes. So what the setup of the head on.
What Bruce means by stuffed is it's compressed. It's it was a plan B. But good on them, and I don't think I could have made
It is a
that
term
shot,
that TSN do use, stuffed it in their broadcast feed, so I'm just channeling TSN commentators.
we don't have those
Yes.
rules here.
So, yeah, the curling community would understand that's not me being critical, that's a genuine curling term to mean instead of you hit a rock nose on rather than hit that glancing blow. So I was not being critical of Anne and Powell there. Just describing the outcome. So meanwhile on sheet B we've got looks like the Joneses are currently sitting, I think just 2. They might be sitting 3. They're just good there. I think they think they're sitting 3. Otherwise they would have dealt with that red in the wings. So and by dealt with I mean just hit it out. So we've got Johns sitting 3, pretty much on the centre line or just off it, sort of staggered. Still a couple of both teams have. So we've got second last stone for Powell, Colin, and Sam and Andy. And then we'll have the final stones for each team. So there's still places to hide behind, like a well-placed draw here can get Anne and Andy back into this end, because we have staggered guards on the centre line. Now that's what Anne is trying to play here. She's playing she's chasing. She's trying to chase here. Or is she peeling? She's peeling the guard. That's done a good job. That's a double peel from Anne Powell there. Unfortunately, though, she's left her shooter on the draw path on her intern side. Probably get around that. Oh, is it? We do have a few, bleary-eyed spectators from other athletes here coming in to watch this morning draw. So is that the feature game? Yeah. So tune in for this afternoon's game. Being reminded. Well, you'll get a glimpse of it. So if you tune in later this afternoon, you'll get a glimpse on neighbouring sheet D of the Battle of the Floral Shirts. Another Victorian derby in this mixed doubles competition with a lot of Victorian athletes here competing, and we've got 2 teams that probably got the best shirt game in the mixed doubles competition.
Shirt game.
Best shirt game.
Oh, that's a thing.
Yeah, Ian and Roz are up there too. The shirt game is strong. So now we have Veronica Johns coming in with a draw. So again, the Johns are currently sitting 3, but don't have hammer. So I think they've decided the best defense is offense. So rather than guard anything up, they're going to come into the house, try and sit 4, all fairly tight around the centre line.
Bring it in.
I don't think this is going to quite go. So this is just going to nibble the 12-foot.
Close.
It's in a good spot for the Johnses. It hasn't given.
Do they need to measure up the third shot rock or not?
They might do, again, but without an overhead it's hard to see. But judging by the calls that Steve Johns has been making, I think...
they've still got 1 rock to go.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to come back to our sheet C. So before the action begins on sheet C, we're just going to remind people about the Victorian Curling Association in Melbourne are hosting a Funspiel 2.0, October the 17th from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. This is the O'Brien Ice House, Docklands in Melbourne, very central, easy to get to. Grab some mates, old or new. Get a team organised. We have a QR code. We have a flyer. Hit the VCA up on their website. So that's curlingvictoria.org.au, or have a look them up on both Facebook and Instagram. So it's going to be a fun day of curling. There'll be prizes for a good team uniform. So think of a good outfit. You won't be curling for 12 hours straight, but the idea is that they'll be break the day up into sections of probably an hour or 90 minutes. It'll be curling, but not as you know it. So there'll be each 90-minute chunk of the day will be, a fun curling game of some description, and usually involving jokers and wild cards and slightly different rules. Sometimes it'll be the number of guards that give you points rather than ones in the house. It'll be
It'll be fun.
teams. It's going to be fun, but it's still a great chance to just meet other Australian curlers, hopefully from further afield. And, you know, get some more curling in at a time of year when it perhaps doesn't happen so much in Oz. So all abilities are welcome. There are prizes.
There's prizes for best costume
as
for
well.
Sure.
And
so you don't have to curl, you just have to be able to dress up and
there we
curl.
go. So yeah, all abilities, but all curling experience welcome. So
what's happened here, Bruce?
So anyway, so back to our thank you, Michelle. So check out the VCA, but back to our action here on sheet C. So we've had a really good opening draw from Tali, who's managed to just. Unfortunately, Roz's response to that draw came up a bit light, so it got into the guard zone but didn't get any further. So now we've got Dean Hewitt coming in. He'll be looking to just get one on top of Tali's stone. Either bang on the centre line, possibly even just checking it on the left side as we look at it from the commentary. Meanwhile, on sheet B, we just saw a triple from Andy Collins there to get them out of trouble. So lots of action here down at the Maniatoto Adventure Park curling rink. So for those of you who are watching locally, there's still going to be a few minutes of play, another half hour or so of play here, so do try and get down here.
What's Ian up to here? Is he drawing in as well?
I think, so we're getting we still have the centre guard in place, so everything is piling up on that centre line. So Ian's trying to just come down on top of the stones that are already there. So that one just didn't quite curl enough, just sort of chipped off to the wings. Fortunately, so it leaves Dean and Tali still sitting two. Couple of options here for Dean if he could just there's a little pocket there to draw into. I think that's the call. It's potentially a double there, but that wouldn't the shooter would likely roll out, or it wouldn't end up in an optimal spot, and it would still leave the pocket. So Dean's going for the draw into the pocket. Pretty good stone from Dean Hewitt there. It's sort of a guard in the house. So they'll be looking to use that stone later, I suspect, to try and tap that up to get more points. And at the same time, it prevents Ian and Roz from hitting anything easy. Ian coming up to have a look. I think you might be looking at a double here to try and just open things up. He would lose his shooter, but it would open up the left side of the sheet. I think he's looking to try and angle the red stone that's sitting in the top 12 foot in such a way that it takes the second counting stone out of the top 4. I think if they do that, they might lose the back yellow as well with this shot. So there's a bit of risk, but at the moment there's no way into the scoring zone, so they have to move something. So Ian Gagnon coming in here with sort of control weight.
Oh no!
Oh, unfortunately that. Okay, well that was an interesting miss there. That's Unfortunately, he flashed the stone. By flash, I mean he went past the stone that he was aiming for. Hit a red in the back, but has rolled in. Oh, he hit his own yellow, but he's actually rolled in and hasn't quite got second shot, unfortunately. So it's still 2 to red. And unfortunately, both those yellows are behind the tee line.
So would you just cram more reds into here? Or can you flick that yellow out on the left?
That would be chippable.
Chippable?
Chippable, I think.
Is that a
chip?
phrase?
Yeah, I think you could do right. Yeah, absolutely. Bit, so yeah.
I'd chip that.
I'd chip that. Yes. Curling stones are in fact potatoes on occasion.
Oh, I'm hungry now.
Yeah. Yes. So I think there'll be a trip to the wonderful cafe here in Naseby, the Black Forest Cafe, which is a second home for curlers, visiting Australian curlers here in Naseby.
Shout out to my future almond cappuccino.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to meeting you.
So.
Oh no. Our crowd's gone down from 3 to 2.
Oh, that was you. That was us talking about the cafe. They've gone. Right, we're off.
33.3 recurring % loss of crowd.
So Dean, seeing that there were, even though the front of the house is dominated by red stones, the angles were such that if Ian had managed to, get a red in moving in the right angles, it was predominantly red rocks that would have been moved out of the house, leaving yellow stones there. So I think Dean, seeing that threat, has just laid a guard on the left side of the sheet as we look at it. So for that would be the right-hander's in-turn side. Just to take away options for Ian.
So is he planning to run that yellow back?
I think yes. I mean, so Ian and Roz really only have one stone to work with here, which is that initial draw from Roz that came up rather short. But it has a straight path into the scoring zone, into the button. So Ian's just looking at angles here. It's a difficult shot. Angled runs are never easy, although Tali now has a reputation for making angled raises and angled runs look easy. That's because she's a very skillful player. But for most of us mere mortals, this is a tricky shot. So Ian's just figuring out exactly where he has to hit that yellow in order to get it moving to the scoring zone of the house, and he's just trying to move some reds around, create some room, so that hopefully he gives Roz a shot.
So on a serious note, is there any other shot he could do? Because there's no way I would have a go at this.
I think he could perhaps look at clearing the middle. The only problem is if he was to hit a shot that got more than one red moving, he'd probably... so Ian just hit that a little too thick. Sorry, too thin. So just...
But he hit it.
But he did hit it, peeled. He has opened up that side.
So they're going to guard that.
So I think, Dean and Tully already looking at guarding up that side again. And then it would be very difficult to see a shot for Ian and Roz, because of course the guard that's about to go back up is a red stone, not a yellow one.
But then Roz will have last shot.
Yeah.
Parallel physics.
Yes, we would be into the realms of alternative dimensions and physics to try and figure out some shots.
Imagine if curling was three-dimensional.
Three-dimensional curling. I like the sound of that. That's sounding very Star Trek there, Michelle.
No.
Yeah, because there is three-dimensional chess in Star Trek. There's a thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Is there a shot for three? There's definitely a draw for three here, but I think they're just guarding. So, yeah, no.
Feels like it just dived a little bit.
That has left a little, that has overcurled ever so slightly. But the angles are such, and where those two yellow stones now are not helping Ian and Roz at all. Even though they're their stones, they're actually hindering Ian and Roz because they just provide a wall of backing that would stop either of those two reds being removed or even moved out of the scoring area.
Can she draw in?
I think that's the call. I think the call is to... There probably is a draw that I haven't been paying too much attention to how...
I could near miss that draw.
Curly. Oh, we all could. I could miss it by more.
Near miss. No,
I could really miss it.
You could far miss that draw.
Yeah, I could far miss that draw.
It's always good to have talent in the commentary box.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, commentary couch today.
Commentary couch. The commentary couch is back.
Pretty good couch, actually.
Very good couch.
Quite supportive.
Many a Australian and I assume local curler has had a power nap or two on this couch over the years. I think Matt Panucci is very familiar with this couch. Shout out to Matt, who is so Matt and Jen are currently leading the other pool in this competition as second seeds. They were run very close last night by yours truly, in fact. Your commentary team this morning played out of our skins, if I do say so myself, and gave Matt and Jen a really good run for their money. Couldn't quite get it over the line, but we were very pleased with how we played. Roz is very close. It's just a bit heavy and wide, unfortunately. Just
hard to get that angle.
That was a very hard shot. So it was there. It's always hard making a draw when you can't see the draw path.
Two to red.
So that was 2 red. So Dean and Tali and Dean extend their lead now to 13-1 on sheet 6. So come on, play a power play. It's I think they have no choice but to play
Didn't
play.
They do their power play before?
No, that was Dean and Tali
Was
who'd
it?
done a power play.
Oh, okay.
Roz and Ian do have the power play up their sleeve. Oh, okay. Was it 13? Okay, it's not on the scoreboard. So all right. So Ian and Roz have used their power play. It just wasn't marked up on the scoreboard.
The red underneath the sheet 4 indicates the power play.
Yeah, but that was Dean and Tali's power play.
No, they didn't have hammer.
Oh, it's the other. I can't see my glance. I can just see a big red square. Okay. Right. Okay. All right, I'm
Clearly, we know our stuff in the
our stuff here. We
know
how world curling
Welcome
scoring
to the
works.
2025 Australian National Curling Championships.
Hello.
Just to let you know, we don't get paid for this job.
Yeah. What year is it? Who's the president?
So we do have day jobs. Like I'm a biochemist. What are you, Bruce?
I'm a transponder for a bank. So
there you go. Just to let you know just where we're pitched.
For those of you old enough to remember that particular Friends episode, yes, I do a very dull IT job for a bank. This is much more exciting. I'd much rather be here than at work. So
Tali's just put one.
Tali coming into top 4 hasn't got shot rock though, so there's room for draws now, particularly on the right-handers in-turn side. So I think that's what.
And being a novice too. Because this is the first time I've done mixed doubles, so you would always really want to have your rock touching, like just touching the yellow guard, or is there a strategy where you would want some distance?
You probably want a bit of room. So yes, a freeze to the back counting stone is a good shot, but if you can just leave it topped, because that would allow the other team to freeze on top of it. So.
Oh, that's pretty much every shot I did.
So unfortunately Roz just a little narrow there. That was looking quite good, that shot, for a corner freeze on the top red, which would have been a good place to be. Fortunately, just took the go. So actually, you're back to your point, Michelle. So in the early days of mixed doubles, the pre-placed stone in the house actually used to be back button rather than back forefoot. So it was nearer the pin. Mm-hmm. And the problem with that was that allowed that freeze to come in, and then that freeze sat on the pin. So by moving that pre-placed shot stone to the back 4, it means if you do come in and freeze that in the first shot, there's still room for the other team to come on top of that and cover the pin.
Oh, so you can share.
So
curling is a very inclusive sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess it's good to freeze to the back rock, but then you're always behind the tee line.
Yeah, exactly. And you open your... So that, in this situation now, so Ian has tapped that redstone to that almost freeze position. Pretty close to freezing.
Dean.
Can we get... Is there a clicker? No, can we get the... Right, we're just going to get the overhead up so I can see a bit more clearly. There's still a bit of a gap between the redstone and the yellow in the house. But, okay, so Ian's coming in with what looks like... He's coming in with a little bit of weight. He's hoping to, I think, raise his yellow stone. There's a yellow stone in the sort of number 2 guard position. So he's trying... Oh, this looks pretty good. Oh, just couldn't hold it. It just overcurled. So it hit that yellow stone straight back rather than having the angle into the scoring area.
That would have been lovely.
So, but again, we're talking centimetres. That was probably 2 centimetres off being a really good shot. So, crowd getting rowdy.
We're up to 4 people now.
Yeah, we're now joined in the peanut gallery here. So we've got... So those
They're
of you
focused on sheep B though, I think.
So we have a question from Rob Swan. Thank you for that. So yes, thanks. Hi Rob. So yes, Michelle and I this is our first foray into mixed doubles together, this competition. So we're seeing how it goes as a team.
I am learning.
And learning very quickly. So
A lot.
I have played mixed doubles a few times before, though I am by no means an expert or a specialist. But I have been entered mixed doubles nationals, although I've had a few years off. This is Michelle's first foray into mixed
Dean
doubles.
just put in a guard so that...
to take away the angle run from Ian, yes.
Yep. That's how much a threat Ian is. Ian makes lovely shots, so I think that was a really good call.
Yeah, no, Dean didn't, at full respect there, because Dean saw the danger, knew he was basically giving that Ian potentially had a look at the same shot twice. And Dean saying, I think you can make it second time, so I'm going to guard it up and just make life a little harder by making you throw something else.
Yep. Hang on, so what's the shot now that Ian's going to be taking?
I think Ian's now looking at the run back, just to give him, to open. He's looking to hit what was the original pre-placed redstone guard, which has come off the centre line slightly because it was chipped by Roz's first stone. So Ian's looking to run this back, try and create some room, and this looks pretty good.
Oh, yes.
That's a nice shot by Ian. That's a great shot. So he's opened up the left-hand side of the sheet as we're looking at it. So that would be the right-hander's out-turn. Now, Ian's a left-hander, so shout out to all the left-handers on his in-turn side. So now it's a race to the button again.
And are you saying like shots? Okay, again, ignorant question here. So are you saying that the shots can be different in turn and out turn, like different properties comparing left and right?
No, not. It depends on people's deliveries. I know that my in turn and out turn are very different deliveries, but that's because I'm not a very good curler.
Right.
I should be consistent. I think most, particularly people of the caliber of Dean and Tali would want to get their delivery, their release style as consistent as possible on both sides.
Dean's rock's coming in now.
So Dean's drawing in.
He's trying to get into the button.
Yeah, or just sit in an awkward spot. He's going to come and sit. He's going to come and sit top button, solid 4 foot.
So that if Ian does a run back again, that he's running.
Yeah. So yeah, Dean's doing 2 things. So Dean wasn't too worried about getting a scoring shot in there, but you're right. He's blocked that run back for Ian. So now, yeah, Ian would be yellow onto red. Thanks, Rob. That's a lovely comment. Rob Swan. Rob Swan, I'm assuming you are...
I do get paid, but not to commentate. Well, I get paid enough.
I obviously know the surname Swan, so I'm assuming, Rob, you're...
any relation to
a relation or partner of Carolyn, so he does a great job for
No.
No relation. There we go. So we're being informed by Brad, who knows the WA. So
People keep saying I'm not related to Matt Dunstone, but I'm pretty sure I am.
yeah, not that many Dunstones in the world.
Yeah.
Not spelt that way, anyway. There's lots of Dunstons, but they're the commoners, whereas you're the elite Dunstones.
The Dunstones
the
with an
rare.
E. Yeah. It's like an upper class Dunstone.
Okay, right. The higher caste.
Yeah.
Yes.
But probably not.
All right, so Ian is trying the run back again. I think this is wide. He's peeling. He might double peel
double
here.
that out, the yellow, both the yellows.
Yeah.
Out?
Oh.
Oh.
Wow. Well, goodness me. A lot of granite moving there from Ian
fantastic.
Gagnon. So, yes. Yeah, they didn't make this, but this is what happens in mixed doubles.
Something happened on sheet B.
Yeah. So, oh, hi, Rob. Welcome. Well, thanks for watching from Canada,
power
Rob.
play
So,
what? Power play dance over there.
yes.
Oh.
So your sheet B, we've had some action, and there's a power play being
Entertainment.
called, and some of the teams here again. Shall we say the teams here that know, they're here for experience and for a bit of fun. So we actually have a dance when the power play is called.
Yeah.
So.
I think it's becoming tradition now. So it's important to signal clearly your intentions with each shot.
Communication is very important.
Communication is very important.
And that includes communications with the umpires here. They're volunteers as well. I mean, and I am one of those. We've all had our World Curling training, but we are still volunteers after all. So there's a bit of pressure on the umpires. So a little moment like that just takes the pressure off them, makes them enjoy it. And we're all very grateful to all of the volunteers here who give up their time to umpire and officiate over the games. So, all right, Rob, let us know where in Canada you're watching from, Rob. Thanks for tuning in from so far away.
All right, Tylee's coming in. So is she going to tick off that yellow?
I think Tylee's coming in with a hit and roll here to just take out that yellow and roll back towards centre line. Executed pretty much to perfection. So that's two shots. That's Dean and Tylee now line
Would
two.
super duper perfection be if it could roll in behind that red guard up there? Or was you just not worried? Because you could get it at a few angles, I guess.
Yeah. So.
By the way, I've only been curling for 3 years, so I don't know the terminology particularly well.
You're sounding pretty good to me then, Michelle.
Sometimes I just make stuff up.
So there is a chance of a quiet weight double, I hear. So just looking at the scoreboard, there's a chance for Ian and Roz not to get 2 points here, because so Dean and Tylee have got 1 and 2, but Roz and Ian are lying third shot still, I think, looking at the overhead. So if there's any way that Ian and Roz, or this is Roz to throw this team's final stone, if they can double those two reds out and somehow keep the shooter hanging around, they would get there too, and I think they would consider that a good morning's work against this high caliber Olympic team. So to answer your question, Rob, we're a very small sport in Australia. There's about somewhere between 180 and 200 total curlers throughout the whole, or at least registered curlers as members of curling clubs in Australia. And a good chunk of those do actively curl every week. This is over curling from Roz. This could take out the shot on the...
Oh, come on, Roz. It's a Roz special.
Oh, it's going to...
Oh!
Very good.
Never underestimate Roz.
So that's another point for Ian and Roz. So nice shot from Roz there. So
Notes being
there'll be a little discussion. I think we're going to see handshakes because it's 13-2 with 2 ends to go, and obviously a maximum score in mixed doubles is 6, so that would still mean 2 very big ends, one of which would have to be a maximum required. So it's handshakes here.
Wonderful to watch.
A professional morning's work from Dean and Tylee, but such is their caliber is that the scoreline of 13-2 is actually one of the better scorelines that we've seen in this. Well, again, with the greatest respect to all the other athletes here. So Ian and Roz have had a good morning there. They can hold their heads up high.
Definitely. They got the dignity score.
Yeah, more than that. I mean, they've both thrown some very good stones there. And Dean and Tylee will be the first to acknowledge that. They're great to play against. They always offer, encouragement and congratulations of a good shot, very much in the spirit of curling. So yes, back to you, Rob. So I'll try and describe a bit of action over on sheet B, which is still going on, although that game has blown out ever so slightly now, with team who's who. I'm trying to figure out who's who. It's now a score of 8-2 to Team Johns. Okay, so hence the power play call by the Collins Powell team. So I think we're going to keep running here. We'll try and work some magic with moving some overhead cameras if we can. Try and get a view of houses. So yeah, we have somewhere between 160 to 200 registered curlers in Australia, spread among predominantly Melbourne, the largest club, with we're up to about 85 to 90 membership, and a good percentage of those actively curl with us in our social league. Then we have WA would be next, with sort of somewhere between 65 and 70 curlers. And then Brisbane, we have sort of around 45 to 50 curlers based up there. And there is nominally a club in Sydney, but they don't actively curl, so there's only a handful of curlers who have a club and they're formally registered to make them eligible for nationals. Good morning, Kai. I'm being visited by Kai and Winnie, who are two four-legged furry friends that come and visit us. They are the dogs of one of the staff here at the rink. And I think we're sitting on the couch, aren't we? So we're occupying the optimal spot if you're a small dog.
Kai likes me because I give good head rubs. Kai!
Would you? Oh, does she need a bit of a help? Oh, you can come. There you go. Oh, Mum's over there. So yes, curling very small in Oz. And we're all arena curlers. We don't have any dedicated curling ice in Oz anywhere yet. The dream lives on, which is why we come to New Zealand for nationals, because New Zealand's in the fortunate position to have 3 or 4 dedicated curling facilities, or at least dedicated curling slabs of ice. So there's 2 dedicated facilities. We're at the biggest one here in Naseby. There's a smaller one not far away, about an hour away, in Alexandra. And then the rink in Dunedin, which is about an hour and a half, around 40 minutes from here. They have, as next to their main Olympic hockey sheet, they do have 3 sheets of curling ice, sort of separated by barriers, which is mostly reserved for curling. Occasionally, I think the hockey players get goalie practice on it. But so because of that, because there's dedicated ice here in New Zealand, the decisions Curling Australia made the decision a long time ago when these facilities opened that Australian nationals would always be held on dedicated ice, because it's the fairest way to determine the best Australian team of the year, because we just don't have the time or the resources to fully prepare shared arena ice. Nope. So the power play not going. The power play for Collins and Powell over on sheet B isn't going exactly as they'd hoped. So Johns and Johns are sitting 2 at the moment. And remember that Johns and Johns are 8-2 up at the moment in that game, and we're in the 6th end. So Collins and Powell really need to score a multiple here to keep the game going. Still a few stones each. Well, we have a lot of fun here, Rob, to answer your question. So like a lot of curling clubs, when we get behind the glass in the warm room with a drink in our hand, even though there's not too much drinking at this time of the morning, because it's only 10 o'clock in the morning here, in 11, 10 in the morning. But we still have a lot of fun behind the glass. So where we do like to celebrate a good shot by anyone, and we channel the Mexican wave from soccer and other large sports, and the handful of people here will do a small Mexican wave by way of showing support for the athletes down on the ice there, that they've thrown a good shot. This is currently a little heavy from Ann Powell. Catches one of the yellows but rolls out. So yes, our dream lives on, all Australian curlers, to get some kind of dedicated curling ice. And actually multiple facilities. We would love to have a facility in the places where curlers are, those 3 cities, particularly Perth, Brisbane, Melbourne. The dream lives on. Well, yeah, raise a glass to us there, Rob. Yes, definitely drink a clock where you are. So here this was the early draw, the 9 a.m. draw here, so it's just coming to a close. So, and there's still one more draw of the round robin to go at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, local time. So quite a few people here in the gallery will be back here in a couple of hours for their last game of the round robin. So once this game finishes, we will all be heading off to the cafe. Naseby in New Zealand's a very small town. Permanent population is only a couple of hundred. So there's not that many places to go. There's a curling club, there's a cafe, and there is a pub, but even that's closed at the moment due to some illness, which is a shame. So when those Australian curlers who make the big time and commitment, financial and time commitment to come over here, we tend to just spend our times in the rink itself, in the cafe, at the pub when it's open, and then in the sort of holiday houses that we all rent. But it's a lovely place to come, very rural. For those of you who don't know, this part of New Zealand has actually a very strong curling tradition, but it's very localized just to this. So in a similar way to Canada, of course, the Scots settled New Zealand and brought curling to New Zealand. But it was unlike Canada, most of New Zealand doesn't have a climate that is conducive to outdoor curling, at least, in the old days, going back 150, 200 years, 150 years. But this part of central Otago does. The winters are cold enough here that ponds can freeze. So when the Scots settled this part of New Zealand, it was very familiar country to them. They were able to know that it's rolling hills surrounded by mountains, suited their farming skills. So they set up shop here in Otago, and then when they realized that ponds could freeze in the wintertime, they started to curl. But because of the climate here in New Zealand, it's only this very small part of New Zealand where ponds freeze in winter on a regular basis, and still do. So this curling tradition is strong but highly localized to this small area of South Island. Hence why they, 30, 40 years ago, built this dedicated facility, this indoor facility, so a 4-sheet facility here in Naseby. And a great facility it is. So unlike many, I'll just describe it. It's very typical of a 4-sheet curling rink. We've got the 4 sheets, and then at one end we've got the warm area of the club with change rooms and offices downstairs, and then a lounge bar area above that with big panoramic windows that look down the length of the 4 sheets. So we can all look, and they have normally have overhead cameras set up so that we can see the houses at the away end as well as the home end. But everything's being in the process of being upgraded here so that we can bring more streaming of both the Australian Championships, and of course the New Zealand Championships are also held here when it's their turn. The New Zealand Curling Association and Curling Australia are, we think that we're all part of we see ourselves as part of the same family or community down here in the southern Pacific Ocean. So New Zealand curling, and they look after us very well, and so does the rink here. So again, second home for a lot of Australian curlers. We're over here, most of us, twice a year for the various tranches of nationals that we have in the different curling disciplines. So sheet B still going the way for Johns and Johns. Though with the score there being, are we now into the 8th end, or we're still in the 6th? All right. No, we're still in the 6th end. So the power play again, still not going quite the way that Anne and Andy would have wanted, because they would needed a big multiple score, but they're still on for their 2, which would claw 2 back, and I think they would play on with that. They'd only be 4 behind, and anybody that's familiar with the mixed doubles discipline knows that big scores can happen in any end. It's the nature of the format. So Andy Collins now has an open draw to anywhere solid 8 foot would give him his second point. There's no guards. There's only one guard in play, but it's not on his draw path. So he's got an open side of the sheet on his in-turn side. He's right-handed. That's a great idea, Rob. So that's a great suggestion from Rob, who's suggesting that maybe one of the things that we could do, both New Zealand curling and or Curling Australia, is put a little video up, a sort of live tour of the rink here. That's a really good idea. So I'll feed that back to the rest of the community here, and we'll see what we can do for you. So unfortunately, Andy coming up a little short with his draw there. So it's just 1 to Collins' pal, making the score 8-3 at the end of the 6th. Looks like they're still going to play on. Mathematically, Anne and Andy are not out of this yet, so they're going to play on. And as happens here, as I've said, we in Australia value dedicated curling ice very highly because we don't have regular access to it at home. So whenever we find ourselves, here in New Zealand or on holiday in other places overseas, where we have access to dedicated curling ice, we take advantage of it. So a lot of the games here in New Zealand, some do get played perhaps for an end longer than you might expect. Handshakes will be deferred, and it gives everybody more time on the ice, which is what we're here to do. I'm fortunate enough I'm originally from Edinburgh in Scotland, and my mum and dad, who are still in the family home, we did time it, less than 3 minutes walk from the 7-sheet rink in Edinburgh. So whenever I go back to see family, I always make sure I pack bits and pieces I need to throw some stones in Edinburgh and some of the other rinks in central Scotland. I also have the fortunate position to be able to visit friends in Colorado, and of course ever since that men's gold medal at the Olympics a few years ago, curling is very much growing in the US, and Colorado now has 2 dedicated facilities, one of which, the Rock Creek Curling Facility in Lafayette, a wonderful 6-sheet facility, which only opened 5 years ago, is only 15 minutes from where I have friends in Boulder. So I was back there in March for a bit of late season snow sports, but I also got myself on the ice in Rock Creek, so shout out to Rock Creek Curling in Lafayette, Colorado, near Boulder. Anyway, so Anne and Andy have a big hill to climb. It's 8-3 to Steve and Veronica Johns, a father-daughter team here at Nationals, as fairly common in curling. Curling tends to run in families all over the world, so Oz is absolutely no exception to that. So out there at the moment we have Team Johns, who are father-daughter team, and then we've got Teams Collins Pal, who are a husband and wife team. So well, things brewing, possibly. The Veronica's opening draw there just split the guards, so we now have 2 corner guards instead of 1 centre. Anne and Andy's initial draw in ran a little deep, but it is still in the rings. It's in the back 12. So shot rock is still there's still the pre-placed stone in mixed doubles, for those familiar with that format, where we have a pre-placed stone on the back 4 foot in mixed doubles. So, but that stone is now wide open because the centre guard's been moved. So Anne and Andy have guards to work with and an open draw path to the button here. So they're going to fancy scoring a multiple score here, if they can, and keep themselves in this game. very precise shot from Ann Powell there to just tap back the yellow that was in shot rock so that they're to leave Powell and Collins sitting 2. It's wide open because the centre's open, but yeah, you've got to start building an end. So they'll be hoping for a miss here. Again, those familiar with the mixed doubles format will know that you can't take out for the first 3 thrown stones of an end in mixed doubles, even if there are rocks in the house. You can't take them out, but there's a sort of extended free guard zone. There's just a non-hit zone for the first 3 stones, played stones of mixed doubles. But that's now over. This is the 4th stone. So Steve Johns can start removing red stones if you want. I think we might see that. But no, Steve Johns looks like he's drawing in. Steve, as a player, would I think usually back his draws over his hits. He's a very good player, both really. But yes, he would. I think he would back his draw more than his hit. So he's just trying to get a stone frozen in on top there. This is a little heavy, so it's going to be tapping. Yeah, nice stone. But it leaves him, said it did roll off, so it leaves another tap open for Ann and Andy. So after this shot, if they play it right, they could be sitting 3. So yeah. So yeah, Brad's worked his magic, and he's doing his best to try and remotely move the overhead cameras, so we'll at least give you a shot of the house at the far end of the sheet. So Anne is coming in with, I think, draw weight. I think this is just a draw. I don't think she's trying to. Oh no, it's a little heavy, so she's tried tapping. So as mixed doubles, it's all about draws and downweight tap shots and chips. So this is looking quite another tidy shot from Ann Powell. She not sure if she moved that enough to sit 3, but it's still a good shot. She's moved it to the back 8. It looks like it's just 2 to Powell Collins still. And they are wide open for a big hit, and there are some angles there. We could see a lot of granite move if Steve chose to throw big weight at this. There's lots of half-check stones there, which means that granite could go flying. If with a big enough nose, I think pretty much a nose hit would probably do the job. Get some of that red moving. Steve and Veronica can start playing the scoreboard now. They're up by 5. So a bit of power coming in from Steve. And this looks like it is going to flash. Also a legitimate curling term, just meaning it missed the intended target stone and was wide. Though no real harm done, they're still sitting 2. It removed one of the back yellows and sort of rolled under. So, but a chance here now for, again, maybe a setup shot. The temptation would be to try and hit the Yellowstone that's sitting in 3rd shot position and sit 4, but everything would still be wide open for a hit, and there's still a couple of rocks to go. So I think we might just see something a bit more tactical from Ann Powell here. Possibly a draw around, still a bit to the corner guard to work with, probably freeze in, or possibly freeze into the center just to add another stone in there. Possibly a center guard. This looks like it's going to stay high. It looks like it's guard weight. Being swept frantically to get it back to the center line. Okay, I think that's in a good spot. I think she was probably looking to get that into the top 12. but it's definitely centre guard. It's just about nibbling the centre line. So you can't see it on the overhead that we've got, but there is a centre guard, a red centre guard now in play. Looking at where the broom is, I think we might be seeing a peel or a run back from Steve Johns now. I think he can get rid of that centre guard that's just been placed. If he peels, he's probably going to get... there is a red corner guard, which was the pre-placed stone that was chipped out to the corner. Or if he does make it through the... No, he's going through the gap, so this is actually a direct hit. There is a hole between the centre guard and one of the corner guards. So Steve looking through, straight through that. Probably try and just about get all three moving here. He certainly wants to move a couple of reds. Although this looks wide, at the moment it's on the corner guard. Gosh, well, unfortunately that attempt at a takeout did crash on the corner guard there. So it's really opened up the right-hander's out-turn side of the sheet. Gagnon and Andy sitting 2 still. Now they don't have hammer, so they have to score in this end. So they're faced with stealing twice, obviously with a deficit of 5. So I think they're going to have to take the gamble, roll the dice, and just get another scoring shot in there. It will be hittable by Veronica when she has her last stone. But I think Anna and Andy realise that they just have to go for broke here. I think it's too well guarded for them to hit that yellow stone that's currently 3rd shot in the back 8. There's no way they can get to that one. So this is a draw on the outturn side for right-handers, just to try and get a 3rd counter for them. This looks like it's coming up a little short, and Powell working it really hard on the broom. Oh, I think she may get it there. She's trying, and just comes up short, unfortunately for them. So they're still sitting the 2, and it is acting as a guard stone. There is an angled run back option here for Team Johns. So although you can't, so what they're looking at, you can see it on your overhead, they'd be looking at using the stone that's just been thrown, I think. There's also a yellow stone sitting on the center line in about for those who know the curling numbers system, so it's a couple of feet short of the rings, so it's in that sort of number 2.5 to 3 position for guards, for those of you who know do the number zone system for ahead of curling. So they may be looking at running that stone in or tapping it in. So just discussing the options. And Steve playing with Veronica. Veronica's a very good curler in her own right, but she's still learning, and Steve has a wealth of experience, so this is a great... He's just imparting some of that knowledge onto V. So, people come to Australian Nationals, which are open entry. They do come with... we all come with our own goals. Obviously, some people are here to to follow their Olympic dream, which is a realistic dream in the case of Dean and Tali. And there's 1 or 2 teams who share that dream and are good enough to keep Dean and Tali honest and can beat them occasionally. But for the rest of us here, we're here for different reasons. We're here for we're not just here for the curling. Some of us we're here just to become better curlers by curling on really good curling ice. The rink here in Maniototo Adventure Park create for us. Shout out to Reese, who's been our ice maker all week, who's created some very good ice, and credit to New Zealand Curling for letting us use their competition stones, which are Scottish granite, came from World Curling a few years ago. So we've got good stones, good ice. So many of the teams here. So we've got a run back or an run back attempt coming in for Veronica. I think it's just going to and it's going to take out the stone that was sat third. So I think we have a steal of 3 for Team Collins for Anne and Andy. So that definitely puts them back in it if that's the case. We'll just wait for the official score to go up. But it looks to me like that was a steal of 3 to the Redstones, which would mean it would be 8-6 going into the 8th end. It was a steal of 3. That's now got up on the board at the far end. See Carolyn Swan, volunteer umpire and athlete herself, but officiating in this competition for us from the WA curling club. Put the score up. So, only 2 in it now. Of course, Steve and Veronica still have the advantage of last rock advantage and the pre-placed stone in the house. So they'll still fancy their chances to see this game through. But as we've just seen, multiple steals over multiple score in mixed doubles curling do happen and are more common than they are in traditional curling. So Anne and Andy will know they're still in this. All starts off with needs a good opening draw from Andy Collins. They can get that first dart in, that first arrow. Well, it's a good line. It's definitely round the centre guard. It's a little heavy, so it needs to tap, which it is. This is a great first stone from Andy Collins. Getting a cheer from the crowd here. A few more people coming in on what's a Friday morning for us here in New Zealand. So what we've done is we've taken the camera that normally looks down the sheet on sheet C, and all we could really do at this stage is angle it. So you're getting a sort of angled view of the house. So that's again, we are a combination of Curling Australia and the Brink here and New Zealand Curling Association. It's a slow and steady process, but we are gradually year on year upgrading the cameras that are available so we can try and get more angles for you and get a bit more technology in. But I think given that we're an entirely volunteer run organisation, big shout out to Brad Scott from Curling WA, who is one who's really driven our ability to have better streaming coverage of these championships, and he does so much work here when he's here, as well as competing in men's. And he picked up a bronze medal. Congratulations to him. But he still does all the camera stuff and the magic laptop where it all comes together, the microphones. It's an awful lot of work. So, and we all love that he does it. So. That one has to go back. It's only the third stone thrown, so a little bit of a mistake there from Ann Powell. Just overthrew her tap, so she's actually taken out, and that was only the third thrown stone. So in mixed doubles curling, that stone can't be taken out yet. So both teams forgot that, and so Carolyn, doing a great job as umpire, realised the mistake and has informed both teams. So they're just going to put everything back, just reset it. That red stone now is burnt, it's been used. So, great pickup by Carolyn there. In the heat of the moment, both teams forgot. It's easy to do, we've all been there. Absolutely, Laurie, couldn't agree more. So Laurie Whedon, who runs, or heads up Curling Australia, just shouting out to all the volunteers, without which this event couldn't happen. And that's not just the volunteers who are here now, that's all the volunteers back in Australia, who the committee and the planning committee who put the tournament together, book this ice, get the dates in the calendar, manage the registration process, do the draw. eligibility checks, check that any athletes and coaches here have done their required e-learning that the Australian Sports Commission mandate that we all do, just for sports integrity reasons. All of that is organised, run, set up, checked by volunteers in Australia. So, both at the national level and at the club level, the three active clubs in Oz, the various committees in there, all contribute to this competition. This is a nice shot from Anne Powell here. She's trying to get shot stone, doesn't quite get shot, doesn't quite get second. I think it's still 2. Sorry, it's definitely 1 red. I think it might still be just the 1 red. Can't quite see from this angle. But I think, so I think we have the pre-placed red stone is still shot. The stone that was just thrown by Anne, I think, has come to third shot, and we have a yellow in the back 4 that's second shot at the moment. But it's behind T, so it's providing a bit of backing to the red stone just thrown. So it's actually harming, although it's a John stone, it's not really helping them anymore. It looks like, so either there's a bit of guarding coming up. I'm just trying to have a look at the weight of the stone. I think we're just coming into that. There is a pocket, so I think Steve Johns is looking to use that pocket. Just freeze into it, working hard on the broom to get it as deep as he can. Veronica coming in too, so pretty good stone. It's maybe a foot short. It could be chipped out, that stone, but there's no way to remove that yellow stone without losing your shooter. So a good stone there by Steve Johns. Didn't get shot stone, but he's made it very hard for Andy to score the 2 that they need to tie up this game and take it to an extra end. And remember that they'd have to steal to do that. Very lonely on this couch by myself. Trying to encourage some of the spectators who are again just other athletes in this competition who are now drifting in on this Friday morning, trying to get someone else on the mic, but they're enjoying the action too much. So it looks like teams Collins Powell, the Redstones, are just sitting 1 at the moment, which isn't enough. They need to. I can't see. Don't. Yeah. So. Yeah. So from the angles we've got, it's hard to see who's sitting second shot at the moment. So. And it's actually hard from the lounge bar area in the club to see who's sitting 1 with the angle we've got. So general consensus here is that it's only 1 red at the moment. So we need, in order to get this game into extra ends, we need to see 2 counting red stones. So if I can try, I'll try and reach it without destroying, well, dragging too many cables with me. But we now have access. now have access to the club overhead camera. Unfortunately, we can't put that into the feed, but we can see it in the lounge. Yes, I think we're confirming now. At the moment, the count's just 1 for red. So I think there's guard stone being put up here on the right-hander's outturn side. So it still leaves the in-turn side open for a draw, but there's not much to aim at. There are 2 stones, so we have 2 stones left for 2 yellow stones left for Johns. No, so 1 stone each left for each team. So we're down to the hammer last stones. And so Team Collins Powell must be sitting 2 after they throw their next shot to take this game, to take it into the final stone and potentially take this game into an extra end. So they're still, even though they think there's still room behind the guard that was just thrown on the right-hander's outturn side to get to the yellow stone that's sat on the tee line and chip it in. And just chip the yellow stone back that's behind it enough. They don't need to move it by much, just a few centimetres, to sit the 2 that they need. And they look like they're going to stay on this side of the sheet because that's where most of the play has been. They're obviously confident that they know what the ice is doing. There is a draw path on the other side of the sheet, on the in-turn side, right-hander's in-turn side, but that hasn't been thrown much in this end, so I don't think anybody's particularly confident they know what the ice is doing. So yeah, a bit of consternation here in the gallery that why the open draw hasn't been. There is a tiny bit of backing, but well, they're going for the hit. So Andy Collins trusting his weight over a draw. I think this is going to flash. Oh. Missed it. So, managed to move it. So, as Team Collins, Powell can't score the 2 they need now with only the hammer left, the yellow hammer. That is a win. So, final score will be 8-7. No? 8-6 with X's. Yeah. Sandy Gagnon, our chief umpire here, just reminding me how to put the final score up. Whether I'm trying to remember the mnemonic of something like hack, something hang, or hack house hang, and just to decide what the final score should be. So essentially, Team Johns ran Teams Collins Powell out of stones there. So it goes down as X's. Final score 8-6 to Team Johns. They get a well-deserved victory. So that's it for this morning's action here at Maniototo Adventure Park. Everybody here is going to take a bit of a break. We're going to go and probably eat food we shouldn't eat from the cafe, but it's delicious food, very well prepared and nutritious. So we're going to go and get into the warm, have a hot chocolate and a coffee, a delicious scone or some other wonderful home-baked goods from the cafe, and we will be back in about 3 hours' time for what will be our afternoon draw here in New Zealand for more round-robin games. So we hope to see you back then. This is Bruce Freshwater signing off, and more to come. Bye, everyone.